Welcome to the latest episode of the Federal's Worldly Wise, a weekly video show that attempts to decode trending international issues. A set of recent events raises the question: is India finally a part of the US bloc? For decades, India had strenuously stressed its policy of non alignment. During the Cold War, New Delhi was non aligned on paper, what was widely viewed as being de facto closer to the Soviet Union. The situation changed in the early 1990s after the disintegration of the Soviet Union. There was a real chance for India to practice non alignment. But that has largely remained a part of its wish list. In reality, in the last 3 decades, beyond the exhortations of non alignment, New Delhi has perceptibly shifted its foreign policy axis in favor of the US. On paper, Indian foreign policy is non aligned, or strategic autonomy, the current buzzword for non alignment. But the reality is different. India's inherent weakness as a developing economy has prevented it from asserting itself under pressure. In addition, India's dependence on the US as its largest market, to the extent of 17% of its exports, makes it vulnerable to Washington's machinations. Trump's reciprocal plus punitive tariffs, amounting to 50% last August, sent shivers down India's export sector. Though not explicitly stated, it is clear that the Indian government will do almost anything to get the tariffs reversed. So, no surprise, therefore, that despite criticism from within the country, the Narendra Modi dispensation has allowed an imperious Donald Trump to arm twist the government into agreeing to a reconstituted trade deal and to stop buying oil from Russia. The contours of the trade deal are in the public realm, with the actual signing scheduled in March. From the framework of the trade agreement, it appears that the US goods are getting a zero tariff entry, while Indian goods entering the US will have to pay at least 18% tariff as of now. According to various reports on the trade deal, it is not entirely a happy deal for India, given that the country's long protected sensitive agricultural sector is being opened to US access in what is being described by analysts as an unequal agreement. And last week, for those who are doubting whether India will actually stop buying crude from Russia, came the news that the Indian Coast Guard had seized 2 US-sanctioned oil tankers linked to Iran. Though Iran denied any link to the tankers, India's action was significant. According to the Maritime Executive website, the Indian move furthers its promise to the US not to buy oil from Russia or Iran, including of the covert variety. So then, how enduring is India's pronounced pro-US shift? There are two possibilities. One, that it will last as long as Trump does. Two, it is a more permanent shift. Given that India's foreign policy is wedded to strategic autonomy, it would be no surprise if the Indian government was merely humoring Trump and its policy will revert to type once the US president leaves office in 3 years, as it stands today. The reason for a possible shift is because for India, the shift towards the US, whether under pressure from Trump or not, will not be easy, as it has to somehow manage to balance the various options vis-a-vis Russia and China. India needs Russia for its strategic interests in the Asian region, mainly for countering Pakistan and to keep China at bay. For Russia, India, since the start of the Ukrainian war nearly 4 years ago, has been an important partner, particularly helping it by buying crude. When the Modi government eventually stops import of Russian crude oil, it is unclear how Vladimir Putin will respond. Though as of now, Putin has indicated he understands India's compulsions. Russia could wait for an opportunity to react in ways that may well go against Indian interests. In the past, let's not forget, in reaction to India's growing proximity to the US, Putin suddenly opened a line to Pakistan, even offering military aid to that country. Among other things, Russia could expand its relationship with Islamabad as India moves closer to the US. For China, India's close relationship with the US does not affect its interests directly in the short term. But Beijing has in the past expressed itself against the Quad grouping, which the Xi Jinping government views as a body to counter China. Led by the US, India, Australia, and Japan as its other members, the Quad has been around for quite some time. If the US forces India to act against Chinese interests in the Pacific or the South China Seas through the Quad, it could be trying times for New Delhi as it will be left with a very difficult choice. But for now, it is India's relationship with Russia and Iran that will be under stress as New Delhi settles in Trump's lap. Thank you.